All right, and welcome back to another session of the Legend Gamers Present. And we're doing something a little different tonight on the Legend Gamers Network, the YouTube channel TLGNWK, Legend Gamers Network. We're gonna do a little presentation and some digging into the lore of Anthem. I'm gonna do some lore digging here. I'm just going to slow things down from how we usually do and try to get a better understanding of this title. I gotta say this one it does have a storyline going, and I am a little bit of a loss as to where exactly it's going, who is who are some of the players. It's all a sexy danger, you know. But yeah, I'm gonna try to tap into some of that. Hopefully everybody's doing well tonight. For those that aren't familiar, I am Fighter9, and so let's dig into some of this lore for this game. So first, this is throughout the library. We have the society, the freelancers. What are freelancers? Anybody know? Independent lancers who choose to follow General Tarsus and the path of valor. They silence cataclysm and aid those in need beyond the safety of the walls. Freelancers act without direct orders from any central government. Though there is no official code, the modern perception of a freelancer values is attributed to Delphi's The Freelancers 3. And we got some character, a group name here, the Freelancers 3. Valor to serve the people regardless of their station, courage to bring silence when the anthem sings, faith to keep my word and the word of my brethren, trust that the free answer when called, strong alone, strong together. And that's more of the single player combos right there, strong alone, right? As explorers and researchers, we often find ourselves requiring a freelancer's sure hand to protect us from the wild world, and occasionally ourselves. They give their lives for us, and yet we do not often acknowledge the value they bring beyond their martial skills. Freelancers are a special kind of historian. They can often tell you what's over the next hill, what happened there, and with reluctance, who may rest there still. The Arcanist Fel Watuk submitted that. So we got freelancers are part of the society. What's a Hulk? A Hulk. A Hulk was the freelancer's mentor. Oh, Hulk. So this is a Hulk, the tubby guy. Looks like he's seen some combat. Hulk was the freelancer's mentor and leader during the attempt to silence the Heart of Rage years ago. He and the freelancer then parted on bad terms. Originally from the Mirelands, Hulk was a high-spirited leader among the freelancers. Though the failure at the Heart of Rage made him grumpy, argumentative, and jaded. For the 10th time, no comment. You hear me? I don't want to talk about it, okay? You want details on what it's like watching a deer get torn apart? Then what you want? Not that what you want? Not happening. They're dead, all dead. So leave me the hell alone. I'm done here. So he's seen some combat and some loss for sure. Freelancer Hulk. Overheard in the Enclave. Another excerpt from him. My limp, easy. I had a disagreement with an Ursix. So he got mauled, apparently. How did I get my limp? Took a tumble off a cliff fighting a wyvern. Okay. Basically, he fell in the shower. That's what happened there. And stories. The Deadfall ambush. I was talking some freelancer through a contract when the call came in. A distress beacon was activated in the area. Without a thought, I sent the team. I realized too late that the call was a trap. Outlaws had killed a freelancer and somehow rigged his suit to send out a distress signal. I know what to look for now, but the price was too high for that lesson. Freelancer Yarrow. Oh. Man, a lot of loss littered throughout the freelancer life, huh? Skirmish at Scavenger Point. Don't like the scars none, but I have to say, Arcanist went looking for trouble, without a doubt. My guess is scars were scratching around the area before because of all that unnatural shaper energy. The Arcanist must have heard about the scars gathering and wanted a piece. They hired me and my strider to bring them to the spot. I would have never agreed to any of it had I been told. Problem is, more scars started popping up everywhere when we arrived. I tried to get out there, but something was blocking my strider from moving. I was thinking we were all as good as dead, but a group of freelancers came along and got rid of whatever was tying up my strider so we could get out of there. I didn't want much of the scrap, but I know it was bad bloody. I didn't see much of the scrap, but I know it was bad bloody. We owe those freelancers our lives. Rennie Quint, Strider operator. I wonder if that's from the one that was down. I don't know if that's the name of the guy who we were helping when we're working on that Strider out in the field. Huh. All right. Make sure everything's checked. All right. So that's the scavenger point excerpt by Rennie Quint. Rennie. Let's see. And the first cipher. So stories of the freelancers, I guess. The first cipher was lost to the music of the anthem of creation, and now she stands guard in the gateway, guiding ciphers who stray too far. That's a folk tale. The first cipher. Oh, first cipher. Gateway. What gateway is that? Oh, so that's all the lore right now as far as the freelancer. Let's see what we have for the Dominion. What is the Dominion? The Dominion, the expansionist military regime from Strelheim that destroyed the city of Freemark when they attempted to control the Cenotaph. While their technological advances are noteworthy, their methods have shown little regard for life or individuality. I don't recall seeing any of those guys myself. The Monitor. Oh, that's the big dude. A rare Dominion operative who is both a skilled lancer and cipher. Wow, he is invaluable to the Dominion's expansion plans. Monitors undergo special training to make them into near omniscient secret police. Corvus first heard whispers about the Monitors from small bands of refugees fleeing south from Stralheim to Freemark. So the Monitor is it's not a person, it's a class, huh? Monitors. Anyhow, Corvus is the diplomatic and intelligence arm of Bastion. They are masters of the intrigue and covert operations, answering directly to Emperor of Anthem. Corvus operatives monitor regions across Bastion and beyond for threats against human civilization, with particular interest in the Dominion. It was Corvus that first used ciphers for code breaking and long-distance communication to keep a close eye on potential enemies. The organization gets its name from Legion of Dawn Lancer Sanadine, who was nicknamed Corvus after the small blackbird. Let me do something real quick. Make sure I blast this out in Discord so you guys will know for them that are in there. That announcement. There we go. There we go. All right, back to it. So the small blackbird, huh? The Corvids. All right. Tassin is an agent of Corvus. She's intelligent and deeply loyal to the safety and survival of Anthem. Her information is always accurate, but she never shares more than is necessary. The Corvus is a bird of remarkable intelligence, famed for its problem-solving skills and its ruthlessness in defending nesting sites. But less well known is how long their memories are. Those who have raided nests find themselves chased by angry birds even decades later. Corvus remembers, and they pass information along forever. And they eat trash. From Birds of Bastion, a field guide by Declan Sumner. So that's our only Corvus contacts at the moment, apparently. Then Arcanists. Okay, it looks like we got something going on here. The Arcanists. Arcanists are scientists, researchers, and scholars who study the mysteries of the world, from wildlife to shaper instruments. While some are found teaching in classrooms, others spend their lives solving shaper mysteries in the wilderness. They have long preserved the collected knowledge of humanity and consider their studies a spiritual and moral duty. After the destruction of the Library of Dinar, Arcanists published a common book of accumulated learning, known as Concordance. It stands as the most prolific work, and a new edition is published annually. The very ground upon which we build our home has betrayed us, but we cannot blame the world for our troubles. The world is what it is. We shape what we can and adapt to the rest. We must be prepared, and we must have eyes that can see what's coming. My dear hope is that my devices, like seeds planted in the deep stone, will grow and bear fruit. My home is they will keep my hands safe. My hope is they will keep my hands safe. My home is where my hands are safe. Right. Neth Stellus, speaking to the Council of Mentors at Anthem on the establishment of underground beacons beneath Fort Tarsus. It's a transcript. Look behind what you see, for the truth hides behind it. For those who hold power through lies count those who pursue truth as the enemy. At its center, the Arcanist movement is about truth. Often, truth does not serve those who hold sway over society, or those elements that sought that control. The truth that becomes an inconvenience at best, a threat at worst. Arcanists have often hid their truth and developed many ways to obscure their discoveries from prying and sometimes undeserving eyes. From Searching for Reality, an overview of an Arcanist history by Arcanist Bak Jamun. Matthias Earl Sumner. Hey, Matthias. Brilliant and curious, Arcanist Matthias Earl Sumner believes that humans can only survive their chaotic world by gaining a deeper understanding of shaper instruments. Now a well-known researcher, Matthias was once an orphan child on the streets of Heliost. Of course, the Arcanists would need a way to pass messages to each other, a method known only to other Arcanists that could keep dangerous knowledge from the eyes of enemies. The runes could be encoded with information about the area they were placed in. They could contain anything, notes, warnings, a random observation. Like annotations or footnotes in a book, nothing would ever be lost. Those that followed could read and understand what has been learned before. From Matthias Sumner's journal. All right. The Elysian Manuscript. The priceless, lost volume of an ancient Arcanist knowledge. Finding the manuscript would bring wide acclaim, and many have conducted obsessive failed searches. Arcanist Dax Semper once wrote, I spent a year poring over old documents, hoping that I could be the one to bring the manuscript's wisdom back to the world. All my searching was fruitless, and I came close to surrender and accept that it would never be found. We must all grow up sometimes and shed our childish notions. Burnt dream right there, man. Sentinels. Sentinel freelancer relations. Very happy Sentinels and freelancers are working together. Sentinels Bryn showed great vision and daring to encourage this. Walls do not make us strong, people do. The more we have at our side, No matter who they report to, the better. Freelancer Yaros was quoted as saying, noted as saying, there were scars everywhere. I thought we were dead. Excuse me, but when I heard a thump on our Strider's roof, guns going off, and the sound of a sentinel telling us we had an escort, and those sentinels were organized, within moments, they had taken names, accounts of the event, and got us moving. They were a bit chilly, maybe, but they got the job done. And unlike freelancers, they weren't going to take off on another job. You know, sentinels are dependable. Little shade on the community right there. You know, propaganda working its fanciful magic as propaganda does. Now let's see. That was an interview. No, interview with the trader. Sentinels. Authorities that keep the peace and protect the people from Anthem on behalf of the Emperor. We protect the royal house of Bastion and all its subjects. We are the arm of the royal house of Bastion, which must be obeyed. We bring justice, for without justice there is no order, and without order there is anarchy. Sentinel vow. That is the vow of the Sentinels. Okay, so they keep the peace within the walls, eh? Outlaws. Outlaws are hardened, violent criminals who were cast out of society because they threaten public safety and security. Once exiled, they must attempt to survive outside city walls without armor or weapons. This practice has been the subject of much debate. Those scarce resources and concerns over violent crime have provided steady support for forced exile. Say a man has slain his kin in cold blood. What are the rest of us to do? Isolate him? Provide him with the meat and grains that we risk our lives for? If we cannot trust him to live peacefully within our walls, then let him survive beyond. Shapers keep him as they see fit, and may he return to us through the great wheel, a changed soul. From Dialogues. Quoted. Banishment is a brutal consequence and the last resort for those ruthless few who prove themselves incapable of living within organized society. A final, terrible step that hangs heavily on any who bears the burden of judgment, yet some exiles survive, some even prosper. Now, judgment must reflect the fact that the banished may find a place among the outlaws and continue their crimes. Commander Vule. That's the Commander Vule, Fort Tarsus. Let's see, regulators. What's up with the regulators? Take a look at that. Princess Zim, huh? Even for a regulator boss, Zim has been particularly hard to catch. Tenacious, clever, and bold, she has eluded authorities all over Bastion. Zim's recent hijacking and transports from Anthem has worsened our grain shortage. As if Scar problem wasn't enough, now Fort Tarsus must deal with selfishness of this princess and her fellow thieves. Sentinel report. Sentinel's not happy about that. And regulators, an organized criminal group that deals with smuggling, gambling, theft, extortion, and other illegal activity. While not as ruthless as outlaws, the regulators are still dangerous and operate outside civil society while manipulating others for profit. The recent closing of Strider locks and downturn in safety of roads has limited legal trade and made the regulators rich. We regulators gave you protection. We got you good stuff for cheap so you could sell it. You're a rich man because of our stock, and this is how you repay us? By saying, like a Saurian to the Sentinels, bad move, my friend. Very bad move. Saurian, huh? Why does that name sound familiar? Scars. The Scars, the Ascari. Ascari. A sentient manifestation of a Scar swarm. Scar, huh? I think, let me see here. Let's get a Scar. Calling all Scars. Calling all Scars. Let's get that scar in here. All right, cue up the scar. Cue up the scar. All right. A sentient manifestation of a scar swarm. Once a swarm has reached a critical mass through consumption, it can spawn an ascari, an advanced scar capable of speech and intelligence and thought. Compared to regular scars, ascari are individuals with unique thoughts and ambitions that are thought to lead to scar power struggles. These disputes make ascari eager to augment and improve themselves if they see fit. Now, this might be the other one. We'll see. The first ascari was discovered at the Battle of the Terraces, leading a coordinated attack on farmers, burning the fields below Fort Tarsus. That's from the history of the scars. All right. Put that back. Get back in there. Get back in that cage. Get back in there, man. All right, very good. Get back in that cage. All right. Damn. I think that might have been off cue. Let's see the scars. Yeah, that was off cue. A colonial swarm of insects that mimic the dominant life form in an area. Scars first appeared from a cataclysm in 413 LV. At the time, freelancers defeated a large, vicious creature none of them recognized. Later, unknown to freelancers, the scars regrouped and changed their mimicry to appear human. Oh yeah, okay, that was a baby scar there. Gotta get the baby scar there. That's you know, we gotta keep the evolution of the scars going because there's so few actually in game. If those in Discord, feel free to find your favorite images of scars and submit them to the channel. All right. Scars then hijacked Striders, cobbled together technology from scrap, and searched for Shaper relics. Inventive scavengers, they left nothing behind. An Arcanist researcher, Hani Blythe, stated, "Empathy towards scars is foolhardy, for their primary concern isn't domination or survival, but mindless, thoughtless consumption. They're a scourge, a plague upon this world." As one of the first eyewitnesses stated, this wasn't just 4 or 5 insects, this was thousands. An entire colony working together to make arms and legs, to make heads and eyes. They became people. Yeah. Insects. Insectoids. I will rule the world with my insectoid soldiers. Ciphers. Ciphers are individuals with a sensitivity to the anthem of creation and capable of telepathic communication and heightened mental calculation. Many young people who are identified as having this unique gift undergo Ember exposure and dedicated training to enhance their mental skills. When Cipher abilities first appeared, Corvus sought to use these individuals for covert purposes. They developed amplifier technology and created a type of institutional training center called a Satomi. The most important and advanced of these is Istarat, the premier Satomi located in Anthem. Later, the Cipher Revolution brought Ciphers expanded rights, freedom to choose how their abilities were used. Sorry about that. Let me read. Later, the Cipher Revolution brought Ciphers expanded rights, freedom to choose how their abilities were used, opening a new world of communication between settlements and in the aid of lancers. While javelins were intended long before the Cipher phenomenon, the addition of ciphers to operations outside of the wall has made all lancers safer and more effective. While javelins were invented long before the Cipher phenomenon and the addition of ciphers. All right. Faye Naveen, a talented cipher from Anthem. Faye was bored with her sheltered life in the capital before she accepted a position with the Arcanists along the Bastion frontier. While there, she met the freelancer Hulk, who promised her a first-hand look at the mysterious and wondrous things in the wilderness. Faye quit her Arcanist posting and joined the freelancers. So she is a freelancer. Neat. Owen. Owen is a cipher who works out of the freelancer enclave in Fort Tarsus. a small town for the frontier and bastion, born into poverty. He was sent from cipher training at a young age when he first showed sensitivity to the anthem. Owen spent most of his life studying at Brunelin Satomi in Heliost. Owen is an adventurer and mischief maker at heart. After leaving Brunelin, he traveled for a number of years before settling down in Fort Tarsus to look for the freelancers. However, the few contracts available have left him uninspired and dreaming of grander things. He longs to operate a javelin of his own. You first met Owen a little over 10 years ago in the tiny city of Pontiac, when he tried to steal from you. Despite this introduction, you had an unmistakable connection and spent the rest of your week having fun together. Years later, after the failed mission into the heart of the rage and rift with your team, your roaming and soul searching took you to Heliost, where you bumped into Owen again. Since then, you've turned that brief friendship of the past into a solid partnership. The Cipher Who Wanted to Fly. Of course, there have been ciphers who wanted to be lancers. Take a look at the old story of the cipher who wanted to fly. And Satomi, this is not just a folk tale, but a lesson to be heeded. The story goes as follows. Benwick Chan, a brilliant cipher in his day, thought he could pilot a javelin whilst ignoring his own heightened awareness. Although his initial tests were encouraging, things were not so simple in the face of a genuine danger. He hired a freelancer to escort him into the wild. They hadn't gone 3 steps when they were attacked by scorpions. Scorpions. In the heart of battle, Benwick could not focus. He found when one of the beasts attacked, his attention was split. Sensing a rise in Shaper energy to the east, picking up Arcanist distress signals, noting the rise to humidity due to recent rain, and dozens of other things that did not help at this moment. He tried to fly, but accidentally fired his cannon. He tried to fire his cannon, but instead punched a nearby rock. He had no control. Tragically, it was he and not the scorpions who killed his escort. Ooh. You see, Lancer and Javelin are connected to the Anthem via a gateway, but it's a single connection, slim and direct, when ciphers are already connected to the Anthem, and for us, we ciphers are already connected to the Anthem, and for us, the gateway is not direct, but engulfing. Javelins cannot possibly channel our every impulse, because our impulses are too many, too vast. The result is a disaster. You gotta be like super focused, huh? There are whispers, of course, of those in the north experimenting with the creation of cipher pilots, but I have yet to see proof of whether they exist or how. 'Tis a rumor and wish, not a reality. From In the Chair, interview with Nigandel. That was a rough one. All right. Now, let's see. Lastly, we have engineers as far as the society. The engineers. Skilled mechanics, artisans, architects, and smiths who build, maintain, and repair Bastion's infrastructure. They are based out of Helios, where they process natural resources, including mineral and ember deposits. Engineers follow the path built by Arden Vesa, creator of the first javelin and designer of the most post-Legion architecture. There are 2 main groups within the engineers: architects, who design blueprints for manufacturing, and mechanics who use blueprints to build items with the forge. Okay, it's kind of basic groups. Maintainers, and the ciphers, the scars, the regulators, the outlaws, and the sentinels. And the scars, basically the bug people. I got it. So the scars, and let's get that scar back out here. Let's get that scar back out here. Come on, fella. It's okay. It's okay. Come on, look. All right, that's enough of that. All right. Now back in this thing, the environment. Let's see, we got a few more minutes here. So the environment, fauna. Oh, look at all this. Anrisar. The predators of Bastion have adapted to our world in interesting ways, none more astounding than the Anrisar. This cave dweller's saliva creates an electromagnetic field that can disable flashlights and destroy flares, often leaving humans stumbling around in the dark. It takes a slow defensive approach to stalking prey, keeping its distance but using its spiked tongue to lash out with great force from far away. Handy for taking grabbits, gaziks, and the occasional lost lancer by surprise. You should be so lucky. From Bastion's Amazing Animals. Grabbit. What's a grabbit? I will begin this guide with a short examination of the seemingly harmless grabbit. My cousin had a pet grabbit once, and contrary to legend, it didn't steal shards and hoard treasures. My cousin liked to dress it up like a baby and coo at it. And when I expressed my concern, she said the grabbit liked it. Maybe it just put up with my cousin because it hoped she'd die soon. It could have a nice dinner. From a guide to living things that will kill you. That seemed like a reach as far as dialogue as text goes. Grabbit training. By Vinowick Croc. Taming a grabbit requires a great deal of patience and understanding, but once you've earned their trust and cleared possession with your settlement, they make a powerful pet, a wonderful pet. Here's some handy tips to get you started. Careful not to scare them. Grabbits are extremely jumpy, no pun intended, and unless you tempt them with shiny objects, they are more likely to flee than make friends. Offering them some chimeric compound or even polished ammunition is a great way to introduce yourself or lure them into a cage. Wear protective gear. Grabbits have sharp beaks and claws, and even an affectionate pat from your grabbit can tear your skin to shreds and cost you an eye. Full body patting is optimal. Lock up your treasures. As mentioned, grabbits love shiny objects and even will steal what they can to add to their hoard. Once you find their stash of goodies, they will fight you for it, unleashing a remarkable fury that you wouldn't expect from such an adorable creature. Careful about the poo. Grabbit poo is not only extremely toxic, but leaves a nasty purple stain that can only be removed by the equally nasty stink hand plant. So make sure you have lots of leaves and grass for them to deposit their droppings on. Grabbits follow the leader. This little cutie is usually part of a flock and will automatically follow anyone who has earned their trust in almost every movement they do. Want to make your grabbit jig? Dance in front of them. Be careful of what you show them, for they will mimic your bad habits. Grabbits like other grabbits better than you. While you might be tempted to socialize your grabbit, don't do it. Once grabbits smell another of their kind, they will want to flock. And a flock of grabbits can cause real damage to settlements. That's some interesting lore I would love to see them take advantage of in game. I don't think I've seen that so far. Koroks. Speaking of grazing, don't let the beautiful colored herbivore fool you. While they like nothing better than to spend their day eating 3 times their weight in plants, they spook easily. And when they spook, they charge. Nothing knocks the wind out of you like a headbutt from a wild Koroks, let me tell you. From Bastion's Amazing Animals. A Saurian, here we go. Saurian. Saurians are sweet little creatures, literally. The skin of an adult saurian is sweet to the taste and are a special treat for ursics and brutes who gobble them whenever they can. While saurian flesh is poisonous to humans, physicians sometimes recommend licking a saurian to induce the vomiting necessary to counter exposure to toxic spores. but I can say from experience that licking a saurian isn't as fun as it sounds. These pack animals also have a tremendous bite, so if you're going to keep an adorable baby saurian as a pet, yes, poet saurian, as a pet, wear your gloves. Nothing sweeter to a saurian than your fingers. And I wonder if it's that I haven't seen them, or literally they do not have a graphic for something that they're making up. Scorpion. The scorpion, the six-legged killing machine, is truly fascinating predator. Scorpions are careful not to hatch from their eggs until they sense that food is near. These creatures have highly corrosive blood and two stingers that can shoot acid at its prey, damaging even the thickest javelin armor. This acid is actually pre-digesting food for the scorpion. For those willing to share a meal with their siblings, who may or may not be burrowing underground plotting a surprise attack. Okay. Tesselar. While Tessie the Tesselar is a favorite child's story, real Tesselars are not so snuggly. Anyone getting too close to a Tesselar should be prepared to be electrocuted. And by too close, I mean in the general vicinity. Most animals are smart enough to avoid the Tesselar, except, of course, Wolven, which will still try to eat them, even after they've been zapped, which is terrifying. If Wolven aren't afraid of the Tesselar's electromagnetic field, they probably won't be afraid of anything a javelin can do. I hate Wolven. The hater again. From A Guide to Living Things That Will Kill You by Timon Batroc. I gotta say about the grab it, Timon might be a little correct. It's something so dangerous. Like, so if you show your grab it how to shred murder something, and then put it in a group, if it happens if there is such thing as a group hierarchy, it can teach the other ones to shred murder other things. So anyway, let's get back to it. Titan. All right, let's see. Titans are a major force and a force to be reckoned with. Once a rare creature, Titans have been continuously coming out of the heart of rage over the past few years, and so we've gotten to know more about them than ever before. Titans reproduce by growing an offshoot, a smaller copy that just breaks off and walks away. Too bad they didn't do offshoots for that one swarmer. Anyway, but smaller doesn't mean less dangerous. If you happen to come across one, you may be lucky enough to catch them in a bad mood and see it shoot energy from its chest. What puts a Titan in a bad mood? Just about anything. Truly unforgettable. From Bastion's Amazing Animals by Benwick Croc. Ursix. Ah, here's the Ursix. Did you say? Did I hear Rancor? Is that a Rancor? Somebody. Is that a Rancor I hear? I think I hear. Anyway, now here's a glorious predator. Humongous and highly aggressive, the Ursix will stop at nothing to put you on the menu. One hit from their massive arms can turn your javelin to scrap metal, and one bite from their enormous jaws will pop you out of your armor like a nut from a shell. I advise watching the Ursix from a safe height, and if you're really lucky, the Ursix might hurl boulders at you. What a sight to behold! Magnificent! So, Vesnids, see the dark cloud dancing above you, blocking out the sun? That's a swarm of Vesnids, one of the deadliest insects in the world. While a single Vesnid is only the size of a fingernail, they always form part of a larger colony that live in spires. Spires are built from chewed up wood and mucus. Each spire houses an amazing complex community of workers, administrators, sentinels, undertakers, nurses, and emperor Vesnids. A Vesnid sting has been known to take down a Koroks. Lucky for us, they only cause minimal damage to a javelin. So feel free to take a moment and enjoy the furious buzzing of a cloud of Vesnids. From Bastion's Amazing Animals. Wolven. Here we go. Ah, the woven. Imagine gnashing teeth coming at you over and over again in quick succession. You raise your weapon to defend yourself, but another beast has come at you from behind. The pack closes in, and you pray to the shapers that your javelin has cooled down enough to fly up out of the nightmare. But they're everywhere. Woven in the dark. What? Anyway. Alright. Let's see, the flora. The night vine. No picture included. This plant looks like everything you want to find in the wild. Beautiful, graceful, swaying before you, offering a gentle, comforting light in the darkness. Do not be fooled. Do not go closer. Do not stand below it. It's hiding a razor-like tongue that will cut you to shreds, leaving you in ribbons on the ground to be absorbed later. Like my mother on holidays, it will not hesitate to give you a lashing. From a guide to living with things that will kill you, Timon Batroc. Timon's kind of terrible at his job not showing us pictures. Shockbriar. A remarkable plant that seems to have been a unique reaction of chimeric alloys. Instead of collecting the chimeric energy in one place, it builds up chimeric tension that results in a mild electric shock. Various arcanists have attempted to harness shockbriar energy, but the result, even if woven into technology, is a nasty rash from all who come into contact with it. There is a large, beautiful display of shockbriar in Anthem's Royal Conservatory. From Joy of Botany by Tenzi Hole. So, chimeric tension, huh? People get rash from using it. Weird. Stink hand. There we go. Got the stink hand. Got the stink hand. Got the stink hand. It's a stinky. Otherwise known as a quick maw. Stink hand has become the most popular term for this hazardous plant. As prey draws close to the stink hand, it will emit a pungent cloud of acidic mist, causing the prey to writhe in pain. Especially susceptible are airborne creatures, which the stink hand will snatch right out of the air. The acid causes modest damage to javelin armor, but will prove quite destructive through repeated exposure. Though stink hand has been harvested as an ingredient in perfumes such as Freverant and Black Ember, the plant is not allowed in most settlements. What? Perfume, huh? So here we go. The resources. Resources: chimeric alloy. Chimeric alloy. Which chimeric compound, when chimeric compound, is compressed with existing minerals over a long period of time, the result is chimeric alloy. Though not as strong or as volatile as ember, it will give you a small charge when first handled. The alloy is commonly used in the crafting of household appliances, Strider consoles, oculets, light bulbs, and of course, decorative paint. Lancers who come across this alloy can harvest it for the crafting of weapons or equipment. Chimeric compound. When catalysmic residue is absorbed by plants through the soil, they collect. Okay, hold on. When cataclysmic residue is absorbed by plants through the soil, they collect in the plant as a chimeric compound. The harvesting of chimeric compound is an ancient tradition going back to the pre-Legion times, and the compound itself can be traded or used to make items such as gold thread, doorknob polish, soles of shoes, and is notably flavorful in grabbit stew. Lancers of all factions harvest chimeric compound for the crafting of weapons and other equipment. Ember. Okay, a naturally occurring dangerous byproduct of the Anthem, used as a foundation for human technology. While active ember can be found in plant and mineral throughout minerals throughout Bastion. It is most bountiful around the engineer city of Helios. Legend has it that the Urgoth enslaved humanity because the Urgoth could not manipulate Ember, whereas humans could. Ember is necessary to create the gateway between the human mind and the Anthem, and while excessive exposure to Ember can be dangerous, it is often applied to ciphers during their training. If you should find Ember in the wild, it can be harvested to craft remarkable weapons and gear. Oh, Ember, I know now, the blue stuff. The blue stuff, and soon to be hopefully purple stuff, because that's like epic. I need some epic Ember and epic crafts, epic recipes. Salvaged goods. Scavenging and recycling have been important parts of Bastion life for centuries. In some settlements, creative scavenging is a point of pride. The memorial gate of Fort Tarsus is fashioned from a repurposed strider, and the moon clock of Anthem is reportedly made from the early javelin creations of Arden Vasa. It is common to repurpose smaller parts like nuts and bolts into button and other fasteners. Discarded javelin parts found by lancers in the wild can be used to forge equipment and weapons. Huh. We use salvage, so chimeric alloy compounds and ember and salvage goods is what you find primarily. So to keep it simple for the resources, I guess. And let's see hazards. The rip stream, a strong wind that limits the height of javelin propulsion. Rip stream can also be experienced when one leaps off a cliff, only to enter a vague grayness, then arrive suddenly near where one started. Yeah. I like how you explained that there. Though arcanists have long studied the buffering winds in our upper atmosphere, there has been little agreement on or proof of their cause. In the early 200s, there was a popular belief that the Shapers wished to keep creatures limited to a certain area, as if remaining close to the ground was part of a larger plan. Less suspicious minds believe the rip stream is due to the size of our moon and atmospheric variables. Alright. Huh. It's rip stream. What is the... Okay. It appears that the controller may have done something weird here. Yeah, there we go. Waterfalls. There are dozens of waterfalls in Bastion, and while they are beautiful, they can also be deadly. Getting caught in the undertow of a waterfall without a javelin can result in drowning. During the great expansion of Fort Tarsus, going over local waterfalls in a barrel resulted in many deaths, leading to the banning of all waterfall recreation. Waterfalls should be treated with caution. For lancers, however, waterfalls can be very useful. Flying through a waterfall will cool a javelin's boosters and elongate flight time. This helps freelancers, sentinels, and other lancers travel through the perilous wilderness and reach people in need much quicker. And I did say perilous. Perilous. All right. Let's see. I believe that, yeah, that'll conclude what we had here. That was a session of digging in the lore of Anthem. Just a nice little shot right there, and I will maybe be doing more of this as the week goes on. So I can get a better understanding of this title and not just be throwing stones. And for those that come across the video, maybe you can also share along in that with me. But this is Fighter 9 for the Legend Gamers Network, suggesting, recommending, and damn demanding when you get your hands on that controller, keyboard, mouse, joystick, or light gun. Don't forget your gamepad. You please be sure to game it good.